Started. If you have questions during the meeting, you can type them into the chat log. You can also raise your hand and Ms. Monica can unmute you and we can answer questions that way. So if you guys would help me take a look for raised hands, that would be great. Okay, we'll get started. So we're going to cover today a few topics, 10 specific topics. So we're going to talk about why we're here, what the outcomes of Girl Scouting are, why that's important to you, your position description, the structure of the service unit, your role in meetings and your role outside of meetings, excuse me, social media, council collaboration, the style guide, and any questions that you guys might have. So we want to, just as a reminder, make sure that we are all living by the Girl Scout promise and law. We are going to talk more about what that means, especially in regards to social media and your roles communications. But that is just at the forefront of our meeting. And we want to talk about why we're here. Why Girl Scouts? We want girls to develop these 5 key outcomes. We want them to develop a really strong sense of self, making sure that they know who they are and what they like, that they display positive values, that they seek challenges and learn from setbacks, right? That they're resilient, that they form and maintain healthy relationships, that they have like friends, they could keep them. They also know what a healthy adult-child relationship looks like, and that they some feedback going on. And that they can identify and solve problems in the community. And I also included this slide. This is a little bit of a different breakdown of the outcomes. These are the same 5 outcomes that we talked about before. But just to give you a better picture, this research comes from the Girl Scout Research Institute. And it says that girls who are Girl Scouts are more likely than non-Girl Scouts to have these outcomes. So 80% of Girl Scouts have a strong sense of self.
Cynthia?
If everyone would make sure that they're muted, we're going to mute on this end. Am I also muted?
No, we're not.
Perfect. Okay.
Else right now looks muted.
Okay, thank you. So this is some pretty compelling research. My favorite part of this, the craziest part of this to me is the exhibiting community problem solving skills. Shows that 57% of Girl Scouts exhibit community problem solving skills, while only 28% of non-Girl Scouts even ever think about what's going on in their community and how they can help fix that. So that's pretty important. So that's why we're doing this. This is the service unit communications position description. Before you take on this role, October 1st, we will ask that everyone sign this position description. It is new and updated this year. You can see at the bottom, July 15th was when this was created and updated. So if you have any questions about that, please make sure to ask your questions in the chat log or let us know at the end. Also, this is basically what this description says, position description says. So your term of appointment as communications should be 3 years. And we've said this the last couple of nights, but all the positions are really moving towards the 3 years goal because we would like the initial year to be a learning year. The idea is eventually someone will be helping or training you in your new position for the first year. The second year is all you, it's you on your own. And then the third year, you should find a replacement and train that replacement for your position. That way we have a constant flow. The training is pretty consistent and the girls never miss anything because there's always a communications person in the service unit team. So you will be supervised by your service unit manager, but then you'll also gain support from the service unit from the service unit manager, from the troop and service unit support specialists like myself. There are 2 others in the council, as well as the chief communications and marketing officer.
I always have your back in case you guys ever need me for just any questions. Feel free to shoot over an email and I'll be more than happy to talk you in some best practices as to what we can do for your situation.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys ever have questions, we're going to talk more about how you can contact us. But big hint, it's info@gsdsw.org. All right, so your responsibilities. There's 3 pages of responsibilities. There's a lot, but we're going to go over them and kind of try to dissect them. And then if you have questions about it, we can discuss it in just a moment. So we are going to, your responsibilities are helping the service unit team to manage and provide support for the troops in your area, to create your agenda for each service unit team meeting, and for the service unit meetings. Some service units have the manager do this, some have the communications do this. It is up to you, but it would be great if you would help. Attend service unit team meetings and service unit meetings. During your meetings, provide a report as the service unit communications person and be there to answer any questions. To take minutes and attendance at the service unit meetings and to distribute those accordingly. So that means after the meeting's over, send those notes out, send out the attendance if that's something that you all have decided on as a service unit. Maintain and keep everyone informed of the service unit dates and the key dates calendar for the council. And develop, coordinate, and manage social media pages, platforms, etc. So that can mean Facebook, that can mean the group chats that a lot of troops have. So we'll talk a little more about what that means in a little bit. You are also responsible for maintaining a current service unit email distribution list of all service unit members. So a lot of times we only communicate with the troop leaders, but in the future you'll be able to communicate with all parents and send out an email to everyone, or maybe just to troop leaders depending on how your service unit would like to run. But I like the idea of the service unit being able to reach parents too. You can assist service unit team members with marketing related to programs, events, and recruitment. So if you guys have a program coming up, it is your job to get that information out so that the girls know about it. To assist in coordinating public relations between council and local media. So if you guys have stories that you want to share with the news, that you want to have on the news, get it out there.
You can always just call me and say, we're doing this specific program or something that's very unique to your troop/service unit. And I will be more than happy to help you in writing a press release. And if you know of any local media contacts, just let me know. And I'll definitely try to get you in the local media.
Cool. So you will also submit pictures and information related to service unit troop happenings to Ileana.
Yes. We're always looking for photos because we always want to showcase what our Girl Scouts are doing in the community. Whether it's you guys doing a service unit event, or also if you guys are doing an activity together as a service unit to better the community, it's always instrumental for me to share those stories to our community because people don't really know what Girl Scouts is really about. But once they see these photos and have these stories, they definitely just want to reach out to us and just say, how can we be part of Girl Scouts? And how can our Girl Scouts be part of our community even more than we already are?
Absolutely.
So those stories are always great for us to share because not a lot of people know what the Girl Scout experience really is. I mean, everything we spoke about in the initial 2 slides that Maria was presenting about, people don't know that we want to help girls develop a stronger sense of themselves and to be risk takers and to be resilient even if they fail. And by having these photos and having all of these activities and stories, that's what we're proving to everybody, saying that our program really just helps evolve girls into strong leaders and to make the world a better place, essentially.
Yeah, and let's not wait until the end of the year when we have recognitions to recognize these girls. Submitting them to social media is a great way to recognize them right away, and then they can still, at the end of the year, get their certificate and their pins, whatever it is that they earned, right along with that. So to be knowledgeable and provide guidance to service team and troops on Girl Scout branding and logo standards. We're going to talk a little bit about that with a style guide in just a moment. To ensure that service unit publicity reflects the diversity of Girl Scouting in the area, and to stay abreast of any newsworthy happenings in your community. So if you're watching the local news and you think that Girl Scouts should be helping out with something, then please make sure that they know about it. Last page of responsibilities: to submit information for council approval before seeking media coverage and or publication. So that means getting it to Ileana and making sure that it's okay. We don't want to just go talking to the news about anything.
Yes, just always make sure to clear your stories with me, just in case it's something like that's not on brand with our Girl Scout mission. I'd rather address it in the forefront rather than have local media contact me directly and say, or ask me any questions. And I'd rather just be prepared that you guys are doing this rather than for me to be unprepared and not be able to answer questions to local media.
Cool. And to recommend and mentor a new service unit manager during the 3rd year in your position. So that's what we talked about before. The 3rd year is all about teaching the newcomer, right? Whoever's new in that position. To complete service unit position training provided by GSDSW, and that is what you're doing today. To ensure positive visibility and awareness of Girl Scouting in the community. Like Ileana was talking about, it's our job to make sure that those girls are being visible in the right ways, to be guided by the Girl Scout mission, promise, and law, and to remain informed about, comply, and support the most current policies, procedures, and guidelines of Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest and Girl Scouts of the USA. So that's a lot of stuff, but it's really not that many things, especially if you're just getting started. But if you want to tackle a lot of those things right away, you totally can. We are here to help you if you have questions. I'm going to say it a bunch of times during this presentation, but if you have a specific question and you don't know who to get to for help, you can email info@gsdsw.org. So what do you need to become the service unit communications? Have a girl focus, empower those girls to lead their activities, learn by doing, and cooperative learning. Making sure that others are on current issues and involve their interests and needs while having personal integrity. Demonstrate dependability, honesty, and credibility. Adaptability, adjust, modify your own behavior, remain flexible and tolerant in response to changing situations and environments. That one's really crucial. So making sure that you can change up the things that you've been doing. I know that we all fall into our habits, and that can be really easy to do. So also making sure that you have good oral communication skills, expressing your ideas and your facts really clearly and accurately, and committed to supporting the council by presenting that positive and consistent messaging for Girl Scouting. Making sure that you're fostering diversity, understanding, respecting, and embracing differences. Computer skills are really necessary. Access to email and internet. Knowledge of social media is key. You don't have to know everything, absolutely not. We are definitely here to help you if you need any one-on-one trainings or any ideas, or maybe just like for us to point you in the right direction of some online trainings. But you do need to have some basic knowledge of computer skills. Time management, ability to meet council deadlines, complete tasks in a timely manner, and then also have a current membership. Previous Girl Scout experience is preferred. Complete a volunteer background check, and remain in good standing at all times. This image you may have seen before. It's the new service unit structure. So in the middle there is the manager. Your role is communications. You work with almost every single other person on the team. So if you are in a service unit that is lucky enough to have all of the positions filled, you will work with almost all of them to help them get the word out about their events, their recruitments. If you have a recognition champion, you might need to help get the word out to all the troop parents about, hey, recognition time is coming around. Would you like to nominate your troop leader for an award? So you will work with just about everyone on your team in your position as service unit communications. So what are you going to be doing during meetings? First, you're going to take minutes at all service unit team meetings and at your service unit meetings. Not every service unit has a team meeting. I highly recommend them. But if you don't, you must take minutes at your service unit meetings. Handle correspondence from your service unit manager, from your service unit as directed by the manager. And that means like flyers, council news, agendas, meeting minutes. So that means making sure that you are distributing everything that needs to go out to the troops. And then after the meeting, keep track of the meeting minutes and disperse to those who missed the meetings on a regular schedule. So it is very easy to say, oh, I'll just do it later, or I'll get those out next week. Whatever it is that you decide you're going to whenever it is you decide you're gonna distribute those meeting minutes, make sure you're doing it on a regular basis. So don't get them the next day 1 month and then the next month get them in 2 weeks later after that. That kind of makes the people in your service unit not sure, and we want them to feel really confident about when they're going to get the meeting minutes. This is an example of a service unit attendance log. This was created by West Sunset Service Unit. So shout out to you guys for creating this beautiful document. I will have this available if anyone would like to use this specific one. You can create your own also. It's just an example, but one way to take attendance at your meetings. And this is an example of a service unit agenda created by West Sunset also. I really love this one because for a couple of reasons. At the beginning, it has your service unit name, time, and location. It says which troops are in attendance, which are excused, and which are just absent from the meetings, right? So this is all about keeping track of who is there. That way you can make sure to contact those leaders later on and say, hey, no one was at the service unit meeting from your troop. What's going on? Do you guys need help? Something like that. I've highlighted some things that are just examples, so you would have to change those, but this is a really great format. At the very bottom, another thing that I really love is that it says all troops are required to attend service unit meetings. You are the voice for your girls at these meetings. Find an alternate representative for your troop if you cannot attend. So, I mean, I think that really breaks it down, is that all girls really need to get that information that happens at the service unit meetings. So make sure to stress the importance of that to your troop leaders and all your troop parents. So outside of the meetings, these are your responsibilities. So you really need to be prepared to email information out to the troop leaders and the parents regularly. Like if there's events, recruitments, other opportunities, things, the mayor wants to meet your troop or some girls from your service unit, you need to make sure you have their emails on file so you can let everyone know. That way everyone has equal access to that. Work with your team to manage service unit social media pages, email addresses or group chats to ensure proper and consistent messaging and updates. And work with your service unit events coordinator and recruiter on developing a marketing plan for all of your service unit events and efforts. So if you have an event coming up, you don't want to just distribute that information a couple of days before. You want to really give all of the troops and the girls in your service unit time and their families time to prepare for that. So make sure that you get with them ahead of time. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. Right now, ideas for helping your service unit team. So ensure that you are regularly checking up with them at your service unit meetings to make sure that you know what programs and events are coming up. Ask them to give you details with enough time so that you can disseminate that information to the troops, so that one, your events will fill up and get really full and all the girls will have a great time. And two, so if they're doing recruitments, they will have enough help at those recruitments. Email out all events to the troops so that the information gets to the girls in your service unit. And take pictures at events or ask for pictures if you can't be there, so that you can pass them along to us here at Counsel. Or so you can post them on your own social media groups within your service unit. Oh, didn't like that. So let's talk about social media.
Yay.
Living the Girl Scout promise and law through social media. So I've just put a few things on here. Apps like Band, GroupMe, and Remind. Those work really well. I know a lot of troops use those. They're great. They can be really great. Closed Facebook groups are strongly recommended, and pages are not recommended. So if you don't know the difference between a group and a page, you can email us at info@gsdsw.org and I can give you a better breakdown of that. But if you have a public page for your Girl Scout service unit, then I highly recommend, in fact, I'm gonna almost insist that you change it over to a private group, because we don't want everyone able to access pictures and images of the girls or know what it is that they're up to and where they're gonna be. So if you're unsure about that, you can contact us here. You might ask your service unit manager or other people in your service unit. If you have a group, make sure that you have the full name of your service unit in your group name. That way we can find you. I don't know if I put it here, but if you would like to invite me, friend me on Facebook and invite me to your service unit group, you're welcome to. I love seeing pictures of the girls and I like being active. I don't use Facebook that often, but I would love to see them when I do get on. Best practices for social media: don't post late at night.
Yes.
Terrible things happen at night, and we don't always use our best judgment. So that's pro tip number one. Respond as if the person is right in front of you. Don't use any foul language. Take extra care in articulating. You're a Girl Scout representative. Make sure that it's relevant. First off, make sure you're talking about exactly what the post is about and that you're keeping it respectful. And don't feed the trolls. Do you want to explain what that means, Ileana?
Yes. So I don't know if anybody has heard this expression before about don't feed the trolls. There will be people that will not be following the promise in law, and they will not be honest and fair or friendly and helpful when putting some commentary if they disagree with something that your service unit is doing. If you can, ignore those comments. Do not respond to people that are being negative towards you, or if they're being hateful towards your service unit. That's something that just is something that you have to like slide off your shoulder, because if you continue to feed into that conversation and you're trying to disseminate that narrative that's happening in a thread, let's say on Facebook, it's not going to go anywhere, and people are just going to get more and more frustrated until probably action would be taken. And we don't really want to risk that with any of you guys. It's very hard not to feed those trolls. I know a lot of us in our personal social medias, we've had some commentaries where we wanted to have our personal rebuttals to things that we disagree about. However, you're a Girl Scout representative, and we don't want anything to happen to you guys at all whatsoever. But also the fact that we just want you guys to have a better peace of mind, that if you feed into those trolls or the people that are giving you that negative perception or that negative narrative, it's not going to be worth it in the end, because nothing will be done essentially, and it's only going to be like a lose-lose scenario. So definitely it's not something to consider responding back to negative feedback or a negative narrative that will be coming out through a thread.
And if you're just learning about this for the first time, that's okay. I urge you to share it with other people, because this may be the first time other people have ever considered this topic of conversation or learned what the word troll means. So I urge you to share this concept with everyone around you. Also, last one on this slide is safety. So even let's say your group is closed, you know it's locked down, it's really closed. Others may take screenshots of what it is that you post. So please remember that other people may still see the information that you post. Don't assume it's completely private. So I wouldn't post anything super private about the girls, the troop leaders, volunteers, families, anything like that. Okay?
And just remember that social media recite the Girl Scout promise in law. And right then and there, it should stand for everything: being honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong. That should all be resonating to you as a communications manager for your service unit. And just take the responsibility that you're trying to make this social media or any of these communications to reflect on the organization and the mission of Girl Scouts.
Well said. So your role in collaboration with us at Counsel, not just us, all of Counsel, every person who works here, it's not just us. So you are the forerunners for our girls. We need all the stories possible so that we can showcase all the efforts of your troops. You can send pictures, stories, and information into info@gsdsw.org for possible inclusion on the GSDSW Facebook page. We may not be able to post them all, but if you have them, we would love to try. So send in stories to local media about the good work that your girls are doing. Of course, let us know if you're doing that. If you feel unsure of your skill level in any part of the required roles and responsibilities, please make an appointment with one of us. You can make an appointment with Ileana or myself or any of the other service unit support specialists. It's your responsibility really to reach out for the help that you need so that you can best help your girls. So please take that seriously. We like that.
So we have a style guide here that has all of standards for what it is when it comes to writing and when it comes to brand, essentially. Because let's say you have a graphic for McDonald's. What makes McDonald's so iconic are the golden arches. Same with our trefoil. It's iconic trefoil green. You don't want to mess that up because people are going to be like, well, that's not the way I recognize Girl Scouts because they're normally green. So we have actually the style guide to provide you that it's the key, it's the general rules of basically writing and also how to promote certain programs with specific writing on how to use time, the addresses, not using acronyms, for instance, and also just how overall style rules that you need in order to create a flyer, but also to communicate cohesively with your service unit.
And so we're going to touch on this a little bit. We won't go too deeply into the subject. The style guide is available on our website for anyone to access. It's really a lot of grammar, punctuation, things like that. There are some things that you must know if you're going to be publishing flyers or making t-shirts, for instance.
Yes.
Anything that goes out and is seen by the public. If you are just talking internally within your own service unit, you may not need to use the style guide. But it is there, and it's like big goal, right? So we want you to know that it's there so that you can use it whenever it is that you need that. So do you want to read some of the major points that are going to be listed on the style guide so they can look forward to or know what they might want to use it for?
Yes, actually. For instance, graphics and branding. I know a lot of people always send to me T-shirt designs, and I always look forward to seeing all the different designs for patches and T-shirts. So just keep in mind that we have the primary colors, which are white, black, and the Girl Scout green. I have all of the color codes in the style guide, so you can provide them to the T-shirt company or to the patch company that you are working with, so that way it could always be consistently on brand. Fonts, photos, and clip art, just those are the top things about when it comes to flyers. And I know we all want to stay in brand so everybody can recognize that this is a Girl Scout event, and we really want to emphasize that these are events through Girl Scouts. And specifically the trefoil, what can you put inside and what you should not do with the trefoil, because the trefoil is a very sacred icon with our organization. And just like McDonald's, Pizza Hut, with all of these different logos and icons in popular culture, you kind of don't want to mess with them because you kind of disrupt what they are. So the golden arches, you wouldn't put them green, you leave them golden because that's how they're known for. Same goes with our trefoil. So just we have it here on the style guide, what you can and cannot do with the trefoil.
Very good. So if you are about to create a flyer or help work with your service unit event coordinator to create a flyer, you may want to look at the style guide ahead of time. It's about 4 pages long. It's not too long. It has clear areas of what you might be looking for. Same goes for if you're going to make t-shirts, if you're going to send out something to the media, if you're going to send a press release. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but you may forget before you complete these tasks, right? These flyers. So before you complete them, just think, wait, there was something I was supposed to do. I was supposed to look at the style guide.
Yes.
So, and if you have questions or if you don't remember what it's called, if you get into it, the best thing you can do is email info@gsdsw.org so that we can point you in the right direction. Very few of you have ever had to use a press release before. So we'll talk really briefly about it. And so you may not need to use a press release if your service unit has not done something that requires it, but this is just in case you do. We want you to have all of the information.
A press release is basically the pre-story to what a journalist needs, the who, what, when, where, and why. If you guys are having special events such as your service unit is going to meet the mayor, that's a really great example, and you do want to share it with local media because the mayor is going to be partaking in a journey with the girls or something like that. That'd be awesome. We're focusing on those kind of programs. You would want to write a press release, and you'd want to inform everybody in the media, basically the who, what, when, where, and why in the first paragraph, and from then on, you want to continue as much information as possible. I like to keep these up to 1 page. This one was my a press release for the cookie sale for 2017 because it was the 100th anniversary. I had to do 2 pages because that was a lot of information, because you also want to use quotes about how people are feeling about certain events. But if you're doing your own personal press release for your service unit, you always want to put your contact information, but you need to put that you are the communications manager for that service unit, because if we're going to have different press releases that still say Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest, they're going to be thinking, is this coming directly from council or from a service unit manager? So we would definitely want to correlate our efforts. Like, you tell me if you're making a press release and I will tell you exactly what to put in there, but just make sure to always have that contact information and specify that you are the service unit communications manager.
Very good. So we're coming to the end here. So I think the overarching theme of this is that we are here for you in your role. It is a lot of work. It can be a lot of work, but it's really fun and rewarding. If you feel overwhelmed with certain responsibilities, you know the email address. It's info@gsdsw.org. You can get a hold of one of the troop and support staff or the chief marketing officer. But we wanted to say thank you so much for doing everything that you're doing. This is really exciting. What an exciting time for us in our council. And now we are here to take questions from you. So does anybody have any questions? You can post them in the chat log, or you can raise your hand and we will unmute you.
Oh, we were really good at what we were doing.
Yeah, we did
If we don't have any questions, once again, feel free to email us at info. Oh,
okay. So Melissa says, how do I increase attendance if you provide the minutes? So that is up to your service unit, Melissa. Your service unit may decide that you don't want to provide the minutes to those who don't attend. I know there are a couple of service units who do that. So that is up to you and the service unit and how you would like to disseminate those. Some require that the people who miss the meeting request a meeting with the service unit or get them one-on-one. So some people don't have that luxury and people are not engaged either way. So it's better to send out the minutes because everyone's really busy. So it's just up to your service unit. Does that answer your question? Awesome.
wonderful.
Very good. Any other questions? Feel free to raise your hand. We can unmute you. I think you might be able to unmute yourself as well. Anybody have questions? Okay, so just as a reminder, this training will be online in about a day. The trainings from the last couple of days are already up on the website on gsdsw.org. Monica Hasso has already sent out the link to that to that address on the website, so you can find those videos. At the end of this week, we are going to be emailing out a survey, an evaluation for all of the service unit summit trainings, that we've been providing this week. So please look out for that email and fill it out. If you have concerns or comments or ideas, or you just really love something, please make sure to remember those and write them down during the evaluations. Melissa asks if I can send out the copies of the sign-in sheet and the minutes format that I shared. I can. Oh, we'll put them on the website as well. So look for those in about a day. We talked earlier in the week about the service unit planning packet. That will be online in about a week. So on that same area of the website. Any other questions?
I love questions. Keep them coming.
We're here for you if you have any questions. Okay.
Well, I think we covered pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you for
have
joining
a great
us.
night, and we'll see you soon. Bye.